Hey everyone, this is Nitro. So it's Monday and I'm doing another Nitro setup video, and just a warning to start that this one will be longer than most of the other videos because of the major update that is being released. This major update has so many changes that affect PvP that I had to start setting up and getting ready for it. So I'm going to be talking about, as usual, the usual stuff I cover, but I have made quite a few significant changes to my party in preparation. So let's begin. First things first, as always, will be the dragon farming results and change in my crystals. So I'll bring up the screenshot of that initially. And here we are. So, at the start of last Monday, the crystal count was, and voucher count was 20 vouchers, 6,415 crystals, right? And compared to the week before, there were 18 additional vouchers and 2,572 crystals. Well, today, I now have 37 vouchers, 8,630 crystals, which meant I got an additional 17 vouchers and an additional 2,215 crystals. Keep in mind though, I actually got plus 1,700 crystals from my monthly Strategist Squad rewards. Strategist Squad is, once again, being a content creator and just getting some additional rewards for creating content from Slong Games. And other than that, I also got 2,665 crystals earned. So even though I only added 2215 crystals, I earned more than that from the week. And the reason I earned more was because I had to spend 2,150 crystals on the Anarchy Lotto. So in this total up is a bit over 4,000 crystals, right? That's how much I actually got for this week. But I spent it on the Anarchy Lotto. So in a lot of ways, you can say I spend my Strategist Squad rewards on Anarchy Lottos to get free skins and so on. So in some ways, I continue to mirror what people can do on a monthly basis. Although I do have the privilege that gives you an additional 50 crystals per day. So keep that in mind. All right. So with that covered, the crystal count has been increasing, the voucher count has been increasing. Keep in mind that even though I got 17 additional vouchers, part of it comes from things like daily login from the events, like the challenge, the challenges in Trails in Time First Chapter and so on. So the 17 vouchers is like a combination of various additional rewards. All right. I honestly don't know what the breakdown of voucher rewards is because I really don't keep track. I just report the change in values. But I imagine I got a few from, let's say, doing the doing regular arena, because regular arena matches have a chance of giving you vouchers. From doing the daily world event that can give you crystals or vouchers, and the others comes from, let's say, timeless trial, limited time events, daily logins, and so on. So that is the change in my crystals and voucher count so far. So steadily building it back up, and I do plan to draw for one hero on the Akaya Brenda banner, hoping to get Akaya. But and I'm currently at 70 out of 100 draws, so I will hit the pity rate in 30 draws no matter what, which means I only need to use 30 of my vouchers to get a guaranteed SSR. I just have to hope that that particular SSR is actually a on-banner hero. Alright, so next up is the equipment farming results. I completely forgot to write down the current week total, but it's easy to count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 SSRs this week, same as the previous week of 11. And in terms of the SSRs I got, well, Timeless Trial gave me a Judge's Talisman. It's better than an Holy Arc, at least. That's what I keep telling myself. But I don't know. Maybe I'll collect 4 of them and have another level 50 Judge's Talisman. Other than that, whatever, right? Monthly SSR, which was purchased on the 1st of the month, was a True Cross, which I've already ordered. I just have it highlighted because it occurred this week. So I'll unhighlight that afterwards. Gambles I covered in the last video, so I won't talk about it again, but spent 1800 ore, only got one good item, which is a Galaxy Cloak, but so I got 800 ore back from getting rid of all those items. Anarchy Lotto actually gave me an SSR, and that SSR was a Holy Ring. Don't have a use for it right now. I have 2 level 1 Holy Rings sitting in my bag right now, and I also have 2 level 50 Holy Rings sitting in my bag as well. So it just shows that I'm using less Holy Rings in general, actually, as I use more gear like Goddess's Tear, for example, stuff like that. But they always have use because, you know, you may always encounter a Bozal that needs the Holy Ring to counter them. So it's not like they're useless, they definitely have a use, so I keep them, even though I'm not using them at this time. Among other things, I can always swap a Holy Ring in if I expect my opponent to play Bozal, right? And then that would help counter anyways, the AoE attacks of the enemy Bozal. Other than that, Trails in Time, first chapter, I got an additional item from that event, which was the Gaia's Helmet. The other ones I picked up the previous week. Gaia's Helmet was picked up last week. And it's sitting in my bag for now because Gaia's Helmets are a bit rare. Other than that, you know, of the 11 SSRs, I actually got 3 SSRs which are decent. The first is a Miracle Staff, my third one. It's also level 20. You know, I could potentially give it to, let's say, Lambda if I ever build her up. So I'm definitely keeping that. Right? The second one was a Demon Lizard skin, which means I now have all the SSR armors, excluding the exclusives. Okay? So every single SSR armor has been acquired, although I still want more. There are still SSR armors that I want, which I'll talk about after this, right? Because you want duplicates. And the third one I got was a Hand of Tear. This is actually my 6th one, because I did some gambling on the banner and got a bunch of them as well. So, I don't know. I don't see myself using 6 Hand of Tears, to be perfectly honest, because I don't use 6 infantry, lancer, or cavalry characters in my Apex team. I can't imagine anyone using 6 of them, but, you know, I'll keep a hold of it, because Hand of Tears are very good items, ultimately. So, other than that, of the 11 SSRs I got, the other 8 were all turned into ore, because they were items that were garbage. Alright, so that is the results of the dragon farming, and I guess joint battles and so on. Next then, I'm going to jump into the game and talk about a few things that have occurred over there. Right, so at this point I normally do my gambles, right, of for the week, and I have to apologize. I actually did the gambles because I was actually on when at around midnight, the reset time, right? So I did my gambles then, and I was doing it on my tablet. So let me quickly bring up the store to mention what I got. Surprisingly, I did record down what I got, so the results were surprisingly positive. Okay. Out of the 9 gambles, I got 3 new items that I actually kept. Okay. And the 3 new items are, first of all, the first one I kept was a Ragnarok. Okay. So this is my 4th Ragnarok, but honestly, while I'm keeping it, you see, I have level 50, level 50, level 20, level 20. You know, I have to keep it. Ragnaroks are good, but I may not use it for a long time. There's just no character I need to build up that needs it right now. You know, so it'll sit here for a while, just like the other Ragnarok. But you know, Cherie, for example, Angelina, and Claret all do want Ragnaroks, so it's not like it's a bad thing to have more copies. Just that it's not very useful to me personally. The second item I got that I actually kept was an Odin's Battle Helm. This is also my 4th copy of an Odin's Battle Helm. Now, in this case, it's a bit more iffy, because in truth, you only need 2 Odin's Battle Helms, in my experience, right? One is definitely on Yulia. The second would be on Rachel if you use her for PvP purposes, because Rachel is a one-shot, is a character that can one-shot enemies, right? You only want this on characters who will kill enemies. So I have no real use for the other 2, because I don't really have other characters that are meant to kill enemies. Long story short. So in some ways I can ore these, but you never know. I may get other characters that may actually choose to equip them. So that's why I'm holding on to both of these. Next then, the third item I kept is yet another Galaxy Cloak. I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Galaxy Cloaks built. This is my 7th level 20 Galaxy Cloak. I just get more and more copies of them. And I actually don't mind because, yes, while it is true that Tenyo's robes are the better item, since they have the chance of removing a buff and so on, Galaxy Cloaks are nothing to sneer at, and they can very easily be used as a replacement for those Tenyo's robes. Yeah. So Tenyo's robe is the ideal one. Galaxy Cloak is maybe a second or third option, because some characters may prefer Baldur's White Robe, but nonetheless, I'm happy to have them. You know, I have so many mages and healers that more of these is always welcome. Long story short, you know, if I can build them up for cheap without having to spend any epic martial spirits, that's a nice bonus, is what this means. The other 6 items were all turned back into ore, which is why you currently see me sitting on around 735 ore. Okay. In terms of the SSRs I still need, however, there's still a lot. Actually, before I go into that, I should do one other thing. And that is something I forgot to do for quite some time, which is get more memory shards, right? I mentioned how I'm at 70 out of 100 draws, right? Part of that was just me making mistakes in drawing when I shouldn't have, but I should turn all of this into memory essence, right? So you can see here 20 Lefany shards, 20 Hein shards, 40 Freya shards, and then 75 Chloe shards from the event, because my Chloe is now at 6 stars. So I'm going to turn all this into memory essence, get 1730 memory essence back out of it. So in total, it looks like, I think I drew 2 times, 10 times, right? And I got 4 SR heroes from those. 2 or 3, I can't remember. One or the other. But yeah, so that's what put me at 70. So let's select it all and extract it, get some extra memory essence, and I now have 5,910 memory essence. Can use it to either gamble for an SSR accessory or purchase runestones. Runestones, as I mentioned before, is generally the better option. Because, well, you always need runestones to upgrade heroes in general. But I'm not particularly desperate for runestones right now. I'm sitting on 2, so I can hold on to the memory essence and decide near the end of the month whether it's worth buying another one. Alright, so let's move on then. So, needed SSRs continues to stay the same, right? Weapon-wise, the one I continue to desperately want is an Extreme Magic Bow, right? But what I also really think I want is a second copy of an Alustriel bow. I currently have one on Omega. I think a second one could potentially be useful, but we'll see if I get it. It's not a must get, but it would be a nice to have. And then a Mimir's War Axe for Yusuke would be preferable if I can get one. And at this point, I would like to see a second Balance Blade, but it's already fallen into a situation where I don't particularly need it anymore. Okay. So that's also nice to have now, instead of a must get. Okay. But weapon-wise, what I really want is a Mimir's War Axe, Extreme Magic Bow, and ideally an Alustriel bow. The rest, I no longer care about. Not even the Demon Slayer. Armor-wise, I continue to want more Lacerates. The more, the better, right? For every single flyer and assassin, you want one. So, there's always a demand for Lacerates, pretty much. Unless you manage to have like 7 or 8 of them. I currently have 4, and I still need more. Other than that, nice to have would be to get a Tenuous Robe, more of them. But as I already mentioned, Galaxy Cloaks function perfectly fine as a Tenuous Robe replacement. It's acceptable anyways. Yeah. So those are the only 2 armors that I continue to look for. All the rest, well, I could also use more Aeolus' battle armors, but once again, nice to get, not absolutely required. I currently just have 1. Headgear. Headgear, what I'm actually looking for now is a second Soul Stealer headdress. Okay. I have a bunch of characters who will move close to the enemy, and the Soul Stealer headdress, chance of silencing the enemies, will always be useful to have, right? It really is balancing the choice between Tenuous Robe, balancing the choice between Tenuous headdress, Odin's Battle Helm, Soul Stealer headdress, and Yggdrasil Reefs, right? But yeah, I really do want a second one. Currently just have 1. More King's Crowns will always be a nice bonus to get, so I'm always looking on the lookout for them. And those are the helms I want. Finally, accessories. Accessories, the top priority remains the 3 items that I really need, which is 1 more Juggler plushie, but that's a nice to have. I really need at least 1 Apex Boots for Elwyn. Just need. My Elwyn's free mobility is constantly holding him back. So if I can just get 1 pair of Apex Boots, I will be super happy. And finally, the last one that I really want in terms of accessories is more Swordsmith medals. I mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. You can use up to 5 Swordsmith medals in your party, right? And the characters who can use them are Luna, Bozal, your 2 tanks, Landius and Juggler, and the last one is of course Listel. So you can use potentially up to 5 Swordsmith medals. I currently just have 1. So I'm hoping to get more Swordsmith medals. Apex Boost, Swordsmith medal, and 1 Juggler plushie is all the accessories that I want at this point. Everything else I truly don't care about. And mostly I turn it back into ore now. Or just slowly build them up as I get copies of them. Alright. Next up will be the shard farming, right? And shard farming is next week. My shard farming on Alustriel will be complete. Okay. She's currently 5 stars at 117 out of 150. I just need 33 more shards or 11 days of farming to get her up to 6 stars. So 11 days of farming would mean next weekend, I think the 17th, right? April 17th, I will have Alustriel at 6 stars. So she'll be fully prepared to join my Apex party then. I'm probably going to swap her in this week though to test her out, to experiment with her. And that's because this week, with the update, she's going to get her exclusive helm that allows her to ignore guard. So she'll be ready for use. Gear-wise, I've already mostly configured her, as you can see. There's the level 50 Last Rites, there's the level 50 Hydra's Bow. The King's Crown is getting replaced, that's why I've left this at level 20 for now. And there is a Slayer's Emblem that needs to be upgraded, but I will be upgrading that this week. Or even today. So, one other thing is, because I'm getting ready to upgrade up gear for Alustriel, I had to configure my usage of ore, because I needed to purchase Epic Martial Spirits. So I've actually gone into my bag and eliminated a lot of items. For example, I used to have 4 Reaper's Breaths here. I've gotten rid of all of them, all 4, because I needed the ore, right? I got rid of a lot of other items that I felt were unnecessary, like the 2 Mirror Armors, and off the top of my head, I can't remember which SSRs I got rid of, but anything that I felt I wasn't going to ever use, I got rid of. In fact, I'm looking at getting rid of these 2 Gears helmets and armors as well. Yeah, because I have 4, actually, all 3 of these, because these things are inherently only for defense, and most of my characters don't just stay on defense, not even my tanks, right? I've used Langrisser to attack, I've used Juggler to attack, so there's almost no utility for me for these items in general. Like a pure defensive item doesn't help because they only kicks in when you're attacked. So it's very likely I'm going to get rid of these for more ore in favor of getting more gear upgraded. Right. I also got rid of, let's say, like a level 50 Aeneas' helmet, for example, to get lots of ore. And the goal of all that is so that now I think I purchased a total of 9 epic martial spirits as a result. Okay, so you can see here I'm currently holding on to 6, and the reason I have 6 is I'll do this offline, but I'm going to upgrade Alustriel Slayer's Emblem, for example, to level 50. That'll take 3 epic martial spirits. I have 3 epic martial spirits to upgrade Alustriel's exclusive helmet when it's released. And I'm also ready to enchant that helmet. So currently, in terms of strengthening, I have 19 SSR breeze scrolls ready to go. So I'm hoping that should get me one good roll with, but we'll see. It's always luck based. If I don't get it for this week, well, I'll rely on my Apex rewards to do it next week to get a good roll. So those are some of the plans that are coming up. Okay. Next, I'm going to quickly talk about my Apex Arena status, which is, I'm going to just show a few screenshots to display that. So at the start of this week, I was actually at a pretty terrible score. You know how I mentioned how I stupidly lost 6 battles in a row? Well, because I lost 6 battles in a row, I started the week at 23 wins and 20 losses after those 60 losses, right? And then on Saturday, I played a bunch of battles, and as a result of that, I actually got a decent score in Apex Arena. Let me just quickly bring up a screen capture of my score at the end of Saturday, which is that I went from 23 wins, 20 losses to 28 wins, 22 losses. So I won 5 matches and lost 2, and as a result, the point score went from 1700 to 1752. Then on Sunday, I played several more matches, and my final score right now was 32 wins, 24 losses. So went from 28-22 to 32-24. In other words, 4 wins, 2 losses. But I think what happened was I was on a winning streak, right? I think I won 3 in a row here, for example, then won 2 more. So that 5 win streak gave me extra points and pushed me up into Gold 1. Right? So I got 48 points that way, very quickly. So after that, the 3 wins in a row, I think I lost 2 and dropped out of Gold 1, went back into Gold 2. Then I played 1 more to win that match, and got right back into Gold 1. And at that point I stopped. So I went something like 3-0, then 2 losses, then 1 win. So I'm now in Gold 1, and the goal is to get into Apex from here. So as a result of that, so with the new update and all those changes that are being implemented, I've been rapidly getting ready for the update as a result. For example, this was why I've been building up Whaler and Alustriel in particular. Alustriel because you can ignore guard, Whaler because I knew he was getting his free C, right? Which is happening on Thursday. So once he unlocks his 3C, he'll be a much more powerful healer that I'm going to enjoy using, for sure. But it's going to take me a bit more time to grind him up to 6 stars. And that's important because Desperate Prayer will then last for 3 turns rather than just 2. So Whaler, when I did a video on him, I said he must be 6 stars to truly be used, and that's why I'm continuing to grind him up. Although he's been surprisingly decent even at 5 stars, I have to say. Most unexpected to me that he's actually usable at 5 stars, but he doesn't truly shine until 6 stars. And other than that, events-wise, well, you all know that I fully completed one event, which is the Trails in Time first chapter. Forbidden Battleground, I will be doing today. So I haven't touched the 4th Battleground yet, the level 60 and 70 stages. I will do the videos on this today and have them released. In large part because I was busy focusing on Apex Arena this weekend instead of doing the PvE content. Well, the event ends at midnight on Wednesday anyways, so I felt that there was no rush to get it done right away. So today I'll get it done, so anyone who hasn't finished it yet can refer to my videos. People who have already finished it, you know, more power to you. Alright. Next, I will be talking about gear changes and enchant changes, and I've made quite a few of these over this week. That's why, first of all, right, I already mentioned, you know, changes that I'm going to be making shortly, like upgrading Alustriel Gear and so on, but I've changed up Shafaniel's gear completely. She now has a magic set with a miracle staff at level 50. So miracle staff, Tenyo's robe, Kakonsis crown, and I'm still deciding on her accessory. I'm kind of torn whether to bring the meditation ring or a holy ring or another accessory. Similarly, I'm also kind of questioning whether she truly needs the Kakonsis crown. I'm wondering if you can use her to bring another Tenyo's headdress, right? So that's also a very viable option. Rather than getting that +1 skill range and span, you can choose to bring a Tenyo's headdress to buff up an ally. You know? So that's something that, or even bring a Soul Stealer headdress. You know? She's always going to be attacking close to the enemy, and being able to silence them can help a lot too. So a few tough choices there over which item to bring on for the helm slot for Shafaniel. All of them are viable. You can even rotate between them to surprise the enemy, just like you can rotate between a meditation ring and another accessory for to surprise your enemies in general. So that is the Shafaniel setup, which has changed quite a bit. I've also finally upgraded Elwyn to a Hand of Tier, so I used another 3 Epic Martial Spirits on this one. He was previously using Chief's Helmet, level 50. I've kept that one because, I don't know, I feel like the effect of Chief's Helmet can be very useful too, right? You can you know, apply effects that prevent your characters from being healed, stuff like that. So it can be hard to choose between the Hand of Tier or the immunities that Chief's Helmet provides. I think I saw, for example, I'm pretty sure I saw in a video where the Chief's Helmet buff, which is the same buff as Tiaris's or Liana's shield or guard skill. I'm pretty sure I saw this shield skill prevent Hiei from applying debuffs. So, and it was the Fist of Mortal Fame debuffs, right? So if that is truly the case, that helmet may have much more utility than expected. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but we'll see. And other than changing Elwyn's helmet for now though, the other thing that I have adjusted is just general enchants, in-class mastery enchants. Okay. My bag previously continued to have my Season 2 rewards, which was the Apex Arena Season 2 rewards of being able to pick any Mastery Stone. You can choose 5 of any Arena Stat Super Mastery Stones, so SSR Mastery Stones. Because I was ranked in the top 256, I got 6 of those, or I can choose 30 SSR enchants at will of any type, right? So I picked up 30 skill increasing scrolls, and I just increased the skill of a bunch of my characters. Because what happened last week was an enemy Omega had enough skill to one-shot my Luna, one-shot my Shafaniel, that one was a surprise, and one-shot my Bozal. So I used those scrolls to basically skill up my characters. So you see here, for example, now Shafaniel has plus 78 skill, Luna has a similar skill increase, right? Plus 77. And Bozel got a new skill increase as well. So now all of them should have enough skill to hopefully avoid getting one-shotted by Omega. So that. And another change I've made was I've rolled up Alustriel massively in terms of using enchant scrolls in general, since I'm going to be using her. So you can see here, here she actually got the full plus 80 attack, which was unexpected to me. So max attack here, max attack, max attack, max attack, right? And for now, I've chosen to increase attack, defense, and skill. Other than that, arena masteries were pretty decent. I guess the closest to a perfect roll was the hit point one, of course. Everything else is near perfect though, and it's good enough for use. And because of all this enchanting and so on, my gold count has massively decreased. I think last week I was sitting on something like 14 million. I've spent 8 million doing these enchant rolls and so on. So gold has dropped dramatically as a result. Finally, two last things to cover. This is a longer video than usual because of all the changes I've made. First is Training Ground. Archer and Assassin Training Ground is now at plus 70% attack. So I finally finished it up. It was at, I think, 64? 64 or 62 or 64 last week, I think. So now it's completely done in terms of attack increases. I also did one upgrade on the Flyer and Aquatics, so now it's at 62%. But what I realized is I'm not finished with Archer and Assassin because I need to upgrade the Demon Hunters and finish them off. So that uses Crazy Shorts and Brown Essential Oil and Epic Survival Materials, so I'm going to be focusing on that to finish up Demon Hunters. Hopefully this week, get them to level 10. Other things that I can upgrade, there's still a whole bunch of potentially used soldiers that can be upgraded, right? Bandits, for example, catapults, for example. I am only going to focus on PvP-oriented soldiers. But, Earth Elf Knights have a bunch of uses now, potentially, but not for me, because I'm going to probably use Bandits instead on my Zerida. And Dwarf Adventurers would be used if you choose to use, let's say, Lambda. Right? But I'm not going to use Lambda, since mine is 3 stars. So a bunch of different soldiers, but definitely the Demon Hunters needs to be upgraded. Once I've done that, I think I'll continue to focus on upgrading Flyer and Cavalry before doing Holy. But we'll see on that one. These 4 are the ones I'm going to focus on maxing out before I even look at Infantry and Lancer. So these 2 are going to stay low for a long time, and these ones are going to get the priority on upgrades in general. Last but not least will be a quick SR status update. Due to the event, Chloe is now also at 6 stars, which means I only have 4 SRs that need to be starred up. 2 of them are event characters, so I'm not going to be grinding their shards, and they're Iris and Olivier, right? Both of which are at 5 stars. Maybe their event will rerun and I'll be able to get them up to 6 stars. That's the only way I'll be getting them to 6 stars though. I have no time to grind up Iris shards, although I would love to have her at 6 stars. The other 2 characters who are still not at 6 stars are the later released SRs, which is Serena and Alfred. Alfred is surprisingly close though. I only need 2 more copies of him. Whereas Serena, she's just not showing up. So I need, I think, 8 more copies of Serena to 6-star her. So, and Angelica, of course, will hit 6 stars once the new chapters are released. And then we'll get, the new Olivier, who can start getting upgraded. So, lots of characters who can start hitting 6 stars. There is another feat where if I get 45 heroes at 6 stars, I get another 10 Trinity vouchers in gold. So that's gonna happen very soon. You know, even if I don't upgrade any of these characters, right? Alustriel will hit 6 stars next week, so I'm guaranteed to get that one. Finally, future plans. No, I already talked about the training ground, so the only future plans to really mention would be heroes to upgrade, like heroes that I'm going to choose to upgrade. And one hero I'm absolutely going to 6-star is Shafaniel. It's going to take 20 days of grinding her shards to get her to 6 stars. So once I'm done Alustriel, I'm probably going to switch over to Shafaniel and get her done. And then Alustriel and Shafaniel and Waller should all be pretty much done at roughly the same time. Sorry, Shafaniel and Waller should be done at roughly the same time, right? Because I'm going to get 33 shards, right, of Waller. And then I'm going to get 60 shards of Shafaniel, which is very close. In fact, Waller is going to finish up before Shafaniel does. But they'll be done at roughly the same point in time. And then I'm going to be continuing to grind up Yusuke, of course, on the side. But at that point, I will be able to choose 2 new characters to grind. And that is going to... one of them will absolutely be occupied by, I believe, the new character release of the Record of Lodoss War's characters, Diglett. The other slot will be a decision that I have to make. I am thinking it's going to be either Diharto or Angelina. And the reason for that is it'll depend on whether I get another copy of another duplicate of Angelina, for example. But Diharto, I feel, should be raised to 6 stars because he's already so close. I just need 130 shards. That shouldn't take too long, right? Angelina, on the other hand, becomes powerful once she gets access to her 3C. So that's why if I get another copy of her, depending on what happens, I will choose between Diharto and Angelina as the next character to grind up. Right? Of course, other characters that are options will be Lambda, Claret, and Hiei. Right? But these 3 options are so far behind that I'm going to most likely hold off on these 3. Right? All of them are at the base 15 out of 50. I haven't even done any of Hiei's Gate of Fate yet, but starting from 15 out of 50 means I have to get 285 shards to 6-star. That is 95 days. That is a very, very long time. So whether I choose to upgrade them will depend on whether I get duplicates of those heroes. I'd rather focus on heroes that are already at 4 or 5 stars or near completion and raise them up for utility right away. And that is basically it. Everything I wanted to say. So kind of in a wait and see mode, especially on the results of the Record of Lodoss War banner, which doesn't happen until, what is it, May? April? Sorry, May or June, right? We have the April banner, the Record of Lodoss War banner from, if you refer to the, banners guide, that one should be occurring in May, actually. So yeah, okay. So it's about Record of Lodoss War collaboration is supposed to occur on May 7th. So that's why I am gathering up as many crystals and vouchers as I can right now. Right? I'm gonna draw 30 times on Akaya and Brenda, or less if I get a copy before I hit the pity rate. And then everything else is going to be saved up for Diglett and Ashram. And I'm probably going to splurge like mad on that one. Rather than wait for Maya and Ares, I'm probably going to splurge for Diglett and Ashram to get a usable Diglett. Although that idea may change. And there we have it. So that's everything I wanted to say in this video. It was very, very long. Wow, 40 minutes to cover everything here. The usual video is like 13 minutes to 20 minutes, so this was double the length. As I said, lot of changes this week, lots of preparation for the changes to Apex Arena. So I've been making adjustments for that. And in total, I think over this past week, I've purchased 9 Epic Martial Spirits, right? Which is 2,700 ore. I've done 9 gambles, which is another 1,800 ore. So I've basically used up 4,500 ore so far, or I call it more. So that just shows just exactly how much changes I've made this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you found this video interesting. It was very, very long, for sure. And on that note, Nitro out.